Hello guys, Josh here, and today we're going to take a look at the original 1986 G1 Predacons that formed the combiner Predaking. So I want to touch on the story or history of these guys for a quick second because honestly, there's not really a whole lot to say because we never got any type of backstory with these guys. Now, you have the bios that you could read for them, but that's kind of boring, so I want to kind of tell you from my personal experience from watching the cartoon. These guys first appeared in Season 3 of Five Faces of Darkness Part 5, where I believe it's Omega Supreme, Hot Rod, Springer, Blur, Cup, all those guys pretty much ran together in Season 3. They crashed on this planet or moon, and from out of nowhere, because Hasbro decided they wanted to do all the stories like this, just throw figures on there and not give us any reason on why they were there. And something that I did want to point out, remember when we got the Stunticons, when we got Minosaur and the Aerial Bots? I mean, it was a few episodes of developing the story on how we got these guys and how they all got their different personalities. Now this guy's just absolutely crazy, and they can't work together. But these guys can. They're Predacons. All they want to do is attack and destroy the Autobots. But we have no idea who they are. So if it wasn't for Tantrum saying, "Hey, these Autobots are weak, aren't they, Headstrong?" Yeah, they sure are, Tantrum. Go get them, Dive Bomb. They're telling us their names, and that's how we're introduced to these characters. Now, from out of nowhere, another character that Hasbro decided that we're just going to throw on you. This guy was a toy box, made by a company called Toy Box, same one that did Shockwave, Omega Supreme, Tripticon as well. This guy comes from out of nowhere in this guy, and he's like, "Don't worry, Sky Lynx is here," and this is Predaking's nemesis, by the way, so that's why I kind of have him and referencing him in this review. But we have no idea who this guy is. And apparently, all the rest of the Autobots and Predaking has a vendetta against him. They hate each other. We have no idea why. It's never explained, but there you go. So we'll use him for size comparison here in a little bit. But one of the things that I did want to point out, you only had two of these guys that you developed their character a little bit. With this guy, I believe it was Nightmare Planet, where Razor Claw and Springer pair up to basically save Galvatron and Rodimus and Daniel. And then you had Call of the Primitives, where Headstrong has a line in there. He's like, "Why are we running away? We're Predacons. We stand and fight." And then they're all kind of like, "Yeah, that's what we do." And then they get their power, or energy wiped from them from this guy that created Unicron. So that's pretty much it for them. I mainly want to focus on what weapons they come with and which ones go to which guys and their transformations. Then we'll put them in combine mode and do some size comparisons. So I'm just really excited. If I sound really hyper, I apologize, but I'm just really excited to finally do this review. Now, this is Headstrong, and it's not the best, but it's not the weakest. Just kind of give you guys a little 360. I did put repro labels on all these guys, and as far as his guns go, because they all have different guns, this is what his looks like. It kind of has like this round barrel right here, but he comes with two of those, and I'll kind of set those to the side. His sword looks like this. So if you guys buy these, these figures on eBay and maybe they're missing their guns or their sword, this way by watching this video, you know which one goes to which figure. So hopefully that'll help some of you guys out. But you want to try to track these guys down 100% complete because obviously it's going to be a lot cheaper in the long run instead of trying to put them together piece by piece. As far as articulation goes, no movement there in the legs. He can move here at the shoulder. It has double jointed elbows there just because of the transformation. But that's pretty much it. He could, I guess, move his head down. He could look down, but then that kind of looks stupid. So the feet are the weakest part. He doesn't really have any. It's just they're hollow right there. So that's pretty much his feet. It's not very good. But we will move. Let's go ahead and get him transformed as well. Basically, what you're going to do with this guy is push these hands in, just like so. Pull these front sections down, and then you'll pull these down, just like so, and flip these down. And you push that in. Oh, forgot. And then put that head down. And then there you have Headstrong in your little Rhino mode and all his nice little stickers there. So also, if you're looking for kind of a guide to figure out where to put your stickers, everything on here I believe is 100% accurate the way it's supposed to be. Now he came with this little cannon up here, and you can see that it's kind of hollow here. Tantrum has pretty much the same one. This one's the one that goes with Tantrum. This is Headstrong's the one that's hollow. So again, if you're missing this piece, this is the one that goes with him. and you just plug it onto the back there, and there you have Headstrong. Alright, moving along, get into Tantrum here, which this is the only figure that I ever owned when I was a kid. So, wanting to have a Predaking when I was, growing up, I pretended that this was Tantrum, and then I would like pull his legs down or something like this, and then whenever he wanted to become Predaking, I just extended his legs and then moved his head around, and that was my Predaking. So it's all make believe. Back then in the 80s, you had to have an imagination because obviously no leg articulation here either. Does have a pretty nice head sculpt. We'll get these focused here. If it will. There we go. Pretty nice head sculpt. I like these horns going out here on the sides, but you do have some arm right here, and then you can also bend here at the elbow. And this is what his guns look like, so you can kind of get an idea there. We'll go ahead and take those out as well. And his sword looked like this. So, I mean, you can pose them whichever way you want. There's some of them that, Rampage and Razor Claw, they need really two swords because they have the very short arm syndrome. But we'll go ahead and set that to the side, and we'll get this guy transformed. We're going to rotate his head around just like so. Fold these down and in. Pull these out. Then you're going to just clip my fingernails. There we go. Pull these legs out here. Push that in. Plug those in, and then that gives him that little hump there, like he's a Brahma bull. And you can plug that on top. So there is Tantrum. Just make sure this is focused again. But yeah, I love this figure when I was growing up. I thought it was so cool. And we'll set him to the side. And we'll get into Dive Bomb, which is probably the best figure out of the 5 individually. I have his guns right up here because that's what I also do whenever he's in Predacon mode or Predaking mode. But you can see this is what his guns look like, so a little bit different there. And we'll set those to the side. His sword basically looks like this. And as far as his articulation, he has quite a bit. He can move his arm right here. I mean, that's pretty much it there. But he can rotate here at the waist. He can go, back and forth with his leg there, and he can bend at the knee as well. So for G1, I mean, this guy was like pretty much a masterpiece back then in the 80s, just because of the articulation he had. You could also, rotate these wings however you wanted. Also extend here as well. And just kind of give you guys a little 360 of him. Now, as far as putting him in his bird or hawk mode, whatever it is, you're going to push this in, and sometimes these little yellow fists don't want to go in there. There we go. Get that in, and then you're going to push this into the side here. And then with these legs, you're going to fold those up, and then there's these little pieces down here. They come down. And you can also open his mouth as well. So there he pretty much is in his dive bomb mode or hawk mode, eagle mode, whatever you like to call it. So he looks really good. And this head will look up to whenever he's like flying like this, so real good. There we go. And we come the leader of the Predacons. Is it still focused? I hope so. There we go. His gun, he's not going to have two of these smaller guns. He's only going to have this one cannon right here. You just plug that onto the side. You can't fit it in his hand, but as you can see, look at the problem with this guy. Even if you extend his arm all the way forward, it's still not further out than his line chest here. So he's got these very short arms. So he really needs, two swords if you displayed them this way. But kind of give you guys a little 360 of him. And I'll show you what his sword looks like. This is the one that I guess you can use whichever ones you like for Predaking, but this is kind of the one that they choose to. They're all the same length, so it really doesn't matter. But let's go ahead and get this guy in his line mode. Push his hands in here. And pull that down. Pull these legs down. And then those will slide in, and then you can move these legs back up, just like so. This line head, you're going to come down here at the angle, and then you can spin, and then pull that down. With these, you flip in the feet. Fold these in right here. And then this red part, you just push that down. And then these will kind of bend, just like so. Then he's got his little tail right here. And then his gun cannon right here, it's got that little hole there and this peg here. It can fit on there just like so. Or you can go ahead and put it into Predaking mode and just move these down here to the side. And then he's got his big cannon there. So it's really whichever one you prefer. That kind of looks a little bit better though. But there is Razor Claw. Let me get this down here a little bit better. Alright, and then we'll get into Rampage. I just kind of have a sword in there. This is pretty much what it looks like. It's a little bit different. They're all kind of unique in some way. And then his guns. This is what they look like. So you can kind of get an idea there. We'll set those to the side. And well, 360 him. He's got some nice stickers as well. As you can see, you kind of have to move the legs around whenever you put these on. But not too bad. The transformation is pretty much the same as Razor Claw. You're going to push these fists in right here. These you're going to pull down and then push these sides in. Come down with this head. It's going to come down just like so. Pull these in. And then with the legs, go ahead and push the feet in. Fold these up. And then come out with these hind legs. Come on. There you go. Kind of just bend them at an angle and pull out his tail there. And there you have Rampage, so there's a little bit closer look at him. Alright, so there their animal modes are. There's a couple things that I did want to point out. I guess while I can kind of go ahead and put this guy in their Predaking mode. The legs are going to be Headstrong and Tantrum. Now, I've seen an anime to where Tantrum's on the left foot or the right foot, so it doesn't really matter. These guys, Dive Bomb's always been the left arm, and Rampage has always been the right arm, and Razor Claw's the centerpiece. But one of the things that I wanted to point out really quick is there is a metal version, and then there's also the plastic version, which this is the plastic version from 1986. Then you have the 2010 reissue that these guys are kind of have some gold in them, which I don't really prefer that. But with the metal version on Headstrong, this part's metal right here, and if you set him down, he'll fall over. You can't put enough weight here at the front because all this back section is metal. Excuse me. You can't keep them from falling over all the time, so that's something to keep in mind. Another thing with Tantrum that you want to make sure if you purchase this guy, a lot of times his horns have been chewed on by like little kids and stuff like that, just because they're that soft plastic, and us kids from the 80s, you like to chew on things for some reason. Also, this is a soft plastic here as well on Dive Bomb, so a lot of times if you look online, you'll see this guy for sale. It'll look nice condition, but this piece right here will be missing, so that's something to keep in mind. For the rest of them, they're pretty much all fine. There's really no major problems. other than the ones that I pointed out. So let's go ahead and get into Predaking mode. So this guy, you're going to go ahead and pull the head forward, push that down. You're going to swing these sections up just like so, and push that in. Now it doesn't go all the way in just because of these front two feet. Whenever he's in rhino mode, they're already put in there. But grab this, it just slides in just like so. And there is, we'll just say the right foot of Predaking. We'll set him to the side. Now we'll get into Tantrum. Take this section off. We'll flip this section down. Pull this out. Push these in. Close that up. Pull these down. And then spin his head around this way. Just like so. So that's pretty much what he's going to look like. You're going to take this section and plug it into there. And you see that they kind of, they're the same height. And Razor Claw's legs are going to plug into these two sections right here. Now we will get into Dive Bomb. What we're going to do with this guy is take this back wing section off, and you'll see that this kind of flips up. This will plug into the back of Razor Claw. We'll set that to the side. And this is going to be our left arm. So we're going to come down with this section, and you can actually slide this head. So we can slide that forward if you like, or you can kind of leave it back if you prefer. It doesn't really matter. Take this section, rotate at the waist, and then you want to grab, the left hand, and you can see that there's these two little notches right here, and on the inside he's got these two little holes. So you're basically going to plug one of those in there and then get the other hole in there, just like so. And then you can rotate his wrist. Some decent articulation for a G1. Rotates at the wrist, right here at the elbow. This section can bend back and forth a little bit there, so pretty decent. And you have this hole here that is going to attach his cannon there to his left arm. So we'll set that to the side. Then we'll get into Rampage here. Going to put his tail up, bring his head, and put that down there. This section here, you're going to put these legs back up. And there's a couple of different ways you can do him. One is you can just put these legs down and pull this section out, but it doesn't really give him a whole lot of clearance. Something that I prefer to do is pull out these arms and then move these leg sections back like this, and it gives them a little bit more clearance. So that's what I'm actually going to do. If you buy this figure, you can pretty much do whatever you want with it because you pay quite a bit of money for it. And I'm going to give him this sword right here. So there is that arm done. And then with Razor Claw here, we're going to pull in that tail section, rotate his mane and push that down. Go ahead and fold these legs up. And you can separate here as well. Rotate. Keep those out. And these will just kind of fit down just like so. And then you put his head up. Now, other than the two hands that do not go anywhere and they kind of set to the side, you also have his head. So go ahead and slide that on over. And we'll start putting this guy together. And let me go ahead and raise the camera up a little bit there so you can kind of see there. We'll plug this arm on. And get this one on too. And this wing section here, this is going to plug into the back. And then this kind of just sits on these back paws right here. And there you have Predaking. If I can get him in the camera here. But this guy is absolutely fantastic. This is a combiner that I never had as a kid, and when I finally got him, I got him at last year's BotCon, or 2012 BotCon in Dallas, and I paid 275 for them. Talked them down, and it might be a little bit more than what most people would pay, but this is a figure that I really wanted, and I wanted to make sure that I had them in hand, made sure nothing was loose and no scuffs, nothing really wrong with him at all. He was in mint condition, and I ended up paying another $25 for his repro label sheet, and so I'm extremely happy with my purchase. This is a guy that I've wanted for a long time, and I think it's better than the reissue version. I prefer this version over the metal version just because of you're going to get a bunch of scuff marks and headstrong. He can't stand up on his own. But I mean, he's just beautiful on your shelf. Now, as far as size comparisons go, let's take a look at him with the smallest combiner here. You have Minosaur, so there's a little side-by-side with them. So you can kind of get a general idea. Now, he is the smallest, so most of them, they come up to right about here, but they're still not as massive in width or in height as Predaking. Here's another guy that's similar in size, but as you can see, Predaking's still larger than him. So here we have Metroplex, which is a base mode. So there's them side by side. Probably if it wasn't for these ears right here, he's nowhere near the height as Predaking is. Here we have another one. Here's Lynx. So Lynx a little bit longer. He's not as tall, but you can kind of see how they fit in with the Call of the Primitives. He was in there and he took a bunch of the people to that one planet, and so he's some kind of like weird beast thing. And then you have the Predacons as well. So, and one last size comparison. Here he is with G1 6-shot. So you guys have a pretty good idea on how tall this guy is. And just for laughs, here's a G1 Blitzwing, which is nowhere near the amount of height. So I knew this ran long, so I apologize, guys, but a lot of stuff to cover, and hopefully you enjoyed this. I wanted to show and share with you my experience with my Predaking, and for you guys that really only know about Predaking as far as the Transformer Prime Beast Hunters as that dragon thing. Hopefully, if you guys enjoy the character, you go see and search one of these things out. I couldn't recommend them any more than I have already. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.